Good morning, family. It's Pimo, aka Jadea, aka Radical Right. Checking in on you guys one good time. So I want to talk with you guys briefly about the route to patriarchal success for the black man. The route to patriarchal success for the black man, or the path to it. So we're living in interesting times, very interesting times. It's an interesting time to be a black man in America, primarily because of the dating dynamic when it comes to us dating black women, black American women. Very interesting dynamic. It's very interesting because as a black man, we get shaded when we date, non-black women, right? But when we focus our full attention on black women, and start, identifying kind of the obvious, it becomes a problem to the very women who are complaining about us dating non-black women. But now we're focused on you, so now we see you, and we're trying to figure out how we fit into this paradigm. And what has happened and what is happening is a serious shift in what it means to be a man, a black man, a husband, a father, in this modern and changing world. So here's the deal. Statistically, black women are the most educated of all women in America, okay? Meaning that you're going to start seeing, you probably are already seeing a lot more black women in management level positions. I see it all the time. And district managers, all types of things like that. You're going to see more and more black women. Like black women, we're living in a world where black women are basically celebrated. And this is interesting because it's not that the black family is celebrated. It's definitely not that the black man is celebrated. The only person celebrating the black man are loyal black women. And sometimes black men, but when black men celebrate other black men, that's not going to go viral, okay? But when black women are celebrated by gays, lesbians, okay, they're, if we're being real, like a lot of times they're the ones that are pushing these agendas, a lot of these agendas that we're seeing. But the black woman's success, quote unquote success, is more important to the world than the black man's success. And what I mean by more important is it's something that's pushed more. I made a video about this a long time ago. I said that more attention and focus is put on the quote unquote success, the worldly success of black women than black men. And it's true in all aspects and fabrics of America. What I'm saying is we're rooting for black women to be successful, to do this, to do that. And black women are rooting for themselves. But no one's lifting a finger or doing any type of cheerleading at all. It's just when it's a black man, it's primarily, we don't care. A black man can accomplish some fantastic, amazing things. And it's like, well, okay, whatever. Like no one cares. And, and we still get this narrative that black men aren't building, even though clearly we are. So, but I don't want to get off onto that. But the reason why I bring that up is because that is paramount to this discussion. Because it makes you wonder, is the path to patriarchy in the black community, the black man getting more educated, getting more financially literate, you know, all these things, like stepping it up to another level so that the black woman who is right now kind of like falling into the patriarchal role, so that she sees this and can submit to your patriarchy? Is that the route to true patriarchy within the black family? And I think that at best, the answer is partially. I'm just going to be real with you. No man wants to be making less than his woman, okay? And again, I'm not saying that it's necessarily wrong or it's this or that. I'm just telling you guys the flat out truth. No masculine man, okay, who has integrity and is traditional in his ways wants to be making less than his woman. Why? But here's the thing. The reason is why. Because a lot of women, like, you know, again, women look at these things and will say, well, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Like all these things, like, you know, okay, all right, okay. You know, they start talking about a man's ego and this and that. All right, okay. We understand you on an ego trip. We understand that. I'm not going to get off onto that. But what I'm saying is this. What you see, this is the reason why. What you see in a lot of those instances is that the woman, because she's making more, she tries to become the more dominant entity in the relationship. And what ends up happening is the woman ends up putting herself on an island where the only options are lesbianism or singleness. And the island that this woman has created, or let me go back, singleness, lesbianism, or some form or weird type of interracial relationship. Because that's always an option for a successful black person, whether you're male or female. Okay, if you are successful, the alternative to you humbling yourself and getting back in tune with your people in a respectable way, the alternative to that is always interracial relationships. The world will always want you. The world will always be there for you. But your people require more from you than that. And the more is not relative to dollars. It's not relative to money. It's relative to integrity. It's relative to moral decisions that you make that might cost you something, a little bit of something, okay? So, a lot of these women, they'll write men off as weak or as this or that, sensitive, whatever they want to say. But it's just the truth. Men, it's not even an option. A man is supposed to be the head of the relationship, the head. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't have a smart, bomb woman who got all her stuff together, okay? But at the end of the day, she's going to submit to the headship, and she needs to submit to the headship of her man. And that's understood. It's not even something that really needs to be explained. But the beauty of it is this. You give your woman control of certain things. Like you give your woman like certain freedoms, like the ability to do certain things as a woman to make her feel special, valued, and, you know, important to you and to the relationship. But you should never, but a man always requires control at the end of the day. It doesn't mean I have to be front and center of the relationship. It doesn't mean I have to be talking the loudest. It don't mean none of that. It just means at the end of the day, look, girl, you have to, in a sense, report to me. Like you gotta check in with me. You gotta like, you know, at the end of the day, like, you gotta come see me. Like you gotta come talk to me. We gotta come to an understanding. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it has to be. But what I'm saying is that it becomes difficult to do that with women who have these careers, who have these jobs, because this is what we're seeing in our world today. We're seeing women prioritize careers over family. Like what is important to a lot of women, and I was just out yesterday around a couple of African-American women, and, you know, and you hear the thing, when you hear what comes out of their mouth, okay, it's abundantly clear that what these women, what a lot of women, okay, are very much so, like the primary thrust or the primary focus of their life is not family. It's not even their own family. It's their careers. It's their money. It's their material possessions. It's their own ego. Like, it's their own accomplishments. And, there's more, it seems like a lot of women are more interested in other women than they are interested in men. And it's just the truth. Like, it's like, basically, feminism has taught women to lightweight hate men. And this is what we're seeing in America. We are seeing like a hatred for men. And the primary people who are hated, and I'm just being honest here, is black men. It's black men. And, it is what it is. So again, we're talking about the route, the path to patriarchy, okay? And I'm going to be honest with you all, fellas. I think to get to a true path of patriarchy, man, listen, you just got to really find and be around, number one, the right type of women. You got to understand that half these women you can't save. And you're just going to put it out there and just say it flat out like that. You can't save them. And I had a very wise pastor tell me, Jesus saves, okay? That's not your job to save. You know what I'm saying? So when the woman is ready, okay, this is step number one. Only deal with women who are ready. Do not try to lead a woman who don't want to be led. If she ain't ready for it, you know what I'm saying, or her situation makes it impossible for her to be led, then there is no room for patriarchy in that situation, okay? Now, again, I'm talking to brothers relating to sisters, okay? If she go out and want to be led by a white man or whoever other race of man, like I said 5 minutes ago, that option will always be there, because there's always a person of another race that will fetishize you or put you on a pedestal because that person is black. That is half of the reason why those people are together, is because that person's black. They don't have there's not a real code or a level of integrity pertaining to her identity or his identity as a black person that fits into the equation of their relationship. The relationship is just love, this quote unquote love, okay? And when I'm talking about this on another level. I'm talking about love with a purpose. I'm talking about black love with a purpose, okay? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this on a deeper level than this little basic square base love. Okay? So I wanted to make that clear. So what I'm saying to you brothers is, look, if she's not ready for you to lead her as a black man, right? But she wants to be, but she is, can be led by a man of another race. You got to understand, you got to let that go to the wayside for what it is. Because what's really happened is she's quit on herself as a black woman. Okay? She's basically written off, you know what I'm saying, the black man, which is another reason why you should never deal with her, because she have problems as it relates to black men. I guarantee you, when you look at majority of black women who are involved in interracial relationships, right? Most of them, if you talk to them about, why or how, or just get a vibe for who they are as a person, there's always this underlining hatred towards black men. Majority of the time. I'm not saying every time. I said majority of the time. You see an underlining hatred for black men. She's not savable, bro. You can't, as a black man, there's nothing you can do with that, okay? So that's step number one. Only deal with women who can be led, okay? First and foremost. So you need to qualify a woman, okay? I'm just being real. Because listen, here's the thing. If your house is built on order, which any patriarchal society must be, there has to be order in the house. If your house is based on order, right? That means that a rebellious person cannot, A rebel can't really function in that type of situation. There's no place for her in it because she's rebellious. Okay, so excluding the rebels is what you need to focus on. The group outside of the rebels. Okay, identify the rebels and steer clear of them because you can't save them, and you do well to not try to save or lead them. Okay, so this is the first critical step to the path to patriarchy. Okay, only deal with women who are desiring of leadership, male leadership. Okay, in other words, they prioritize family above career. Okay, that's a hallmark of a woman who can be led, because obviously she wants leadership. Okay, more than a career. Number two, of course, we got to put the work back on ourselves, man. The path to patriarchy for us, once you eliminate the rebels, really involves you working on self. It really involves you understanding leadership. Because this is the one thing I think that as a community, we do not really instill into our boys. Because listen, let me tell you something. For non-black men, particularly white men, you grow up believing you're a leader. Like you kind of like grow up in a society that loves you is what I'm basically trying to say. The black man is growing up in a society where you feel slighted, you feel like basically not important, like always second. Like you're always not leading. You're always listening to someone else. You're never leading. And there are situations where, obviously, where the black man does lead, and there are communities and places where that does happen, and all praise for that. But in most instances across these United States of America, you know, the black man is coming second, third, you know, he's listening to someone else. So what I'm saying is that we're not taught really to be leaders from a young age. Now, if you have strong male role models or strong male influence from a young age, then the story might be different for you. You understand what leadership is. You understand the value of it. I'm telling you guys right now, leadership is critical to patriarchy. There can be no patriarchy without black males understanding how to lead, because the whole premise of patriarchy is I'm going to lead this woman. Okay. And she's going to be submissive to me. So you have to lead in a righteous way, brothers. And this is what I'm saying is you need to understand leadership. You have to understand and work on and cultivate leadership qualities so that when you find this woman who is not a rebel, who wants to be led, you're able to navigate that situation in a way that merits her submission, number one. And number two, contributes to the overall peace and success of the relationship. Okay. It's necessary, fellas. Now, a part of leadership is understanding that I have to lead by example, right? So leading by example means that you educate yourself, not just in how to lead, but in the actualities of what you do. So, okay, I'm trying to lead a woman to marriage, right? And family. So that means that I need to understand what my role is as a man, a protector, a provider, a lover of this woman, and a love, a symbol of manliness and love in my family. You know what I'm saying? Kindness, all of these things. Okay. Education, everything, right? So I need to be fully equipped to navigate this situation, meaning quite naturally, meaning that, you know, I have a stable job. I have a business. I have an education. I have, at the very least, work ethic. I'm not lazy. You cannot be lazy and lead anything. Okay. You cannot be a leader and be lazy, meaning you can't be patriarchal and be lazy. It's impossible. Okay. You have to be a go-getter. You have to be somebody who's not lazy. Okay. But you also have to understand that your family needs you. They need your time. They need your love. They need your attention. They need your affection. They need your conversation. They need your attention. Okay. So it's this balancing act of being a leader, okay, that we need to master. We need to cultivate and master. This is critical, okay? I'm telling you guys, if you don't master this and you don't get this, it is impossible for you to be in a patriarchal situation. It is impossible, okay? You're not qualified to be a patriarch if you cannot lead your family effectively. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about in every area of leadership, right on down to spirituality, everything of that sort, okay? Now, this video, these are the two things that I wanted to talk about, okay? The route to patriarchy. These are the things that we must focus on, okay? First of all, like I said, eliminating the rebels. Number two, getting ourselves together as leaders, okay? Understanding basic economics of this land in which we live. Understanding credit. Understanding debt. Understanding, equity. Understanding the basic tenets, the premises of what it means to be a leader. These are things that you have to have. You got to have it, brothers. Understanding the importance of honesty, integrity, okay? Even when it's hard, you got to be honest. You got to tell the truth. Even when it's going to hurt people's feelings, you got to be honest. You got to tell the truth, okay? All aspects of life, we have to become better leaders. And when we do these things, this is when patriarchy will be back established in our communities. Understand, brothers, you can't establish patriarchy with the rebels. The rebellious women, you cannot establish patriarchy with them. They are rebels. They seek to dominate you. They seek to lead you. And really, they don't want to lead you. They just want to complain about you. Leave them alone, okay? Leave them alone. There is no future for us in them, because the only future for the black family is in my belief, lies in patriarchy, okay? The man leading the household, okay? Again, it does not mean that you are, the loudest in the relationship. It certainly doesn't mean you're abusive, but it means that you are the head or the leader of it, okay? And number two, there is no future of our people unless we as men cultivate leadership qualities. This is critical to our success as a people and our success as men, and for the future generations of our young boys who are going to be growing up. All right? Stop with the easy route out. Stop with the interracial relationships. Get serious about patriarchy today. Until we chat again, it's Pimo, aka Jadea, aka Radical Right, checking out. Go.